Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch. We're here for another Metagame Monday. Today we're going to be discussing the Cinderace ban, some of the winners and losers of it, as well as some alternatives that might pop up in the metagame. And we're also going to be going over a couple sample replays from the World Cup of Pokemon, discussing how Cinderace might have been something that could have been banned or should have been banned in the SSC metagame. First off, I want to discuss my thoughts on Cinderace itself. While I did briefly touch on these in a couple of my car vlogs when I didn't have power last week, I do now have my power restored and my internet and cable back, so thank God for that, and thank you for all your patience, guys. I know it was tough taking a couple days off uploading. I was actually really eager to get back out there and bring some more content to the channel, but now we're here, so thank you to all your patience, and for everyone who watched the car vlogs, thank you so much for that and support. It seems like they were a bit of a hit with you guys. It was fun, so if I lose power again, I'll be sure to know what to go to, but anyway, finally we're back for this, the Metagame Monday, and we're discussing Cinderace ban, so just some context. There was a Magearna suspect test. Magearna got banned, and then upon Magearna getting banned, the council also had a vote on Cinderace, and we voted unanimously to ban it with the condition that we'll retest it in a month or so. Now, there are a couple of pieces of logic that go into this. First off, the official ladder tournament and Smelgon Statecraft are starting soon. So yes, tournament timing did have a bit of an impact on the timing of this. However, what was really important for me and a lot of other members of the council was that while the tournament was coming up soon, it's also worth noting that Cinderace was just ridiculous in our eyes. Like, we've been wanting it banned even more than Magearna. In fact, there was also a survey put out recently that had it more than Magearna as like being broken. The thing is that it's hard to necessarily ban something like Cinderace when the Libero sets didn't really become as popular and as prominent and as threatening or potent until later than Magearna. For example, Magearna started using the Choice Spec set and showed off its versatility from a couple days in. I think it was broken as of like a week after DLC, and then since then it throughout all of World Cup, all of the ladder last month, it showed itself as broken. For Cinderace, it really took a while. People started using the U-turn, Gunk Shot, Pyro Balls, and Headbutt set, and that's when it really became broken in my eyes. That's when Cinderace really shined at its brightest. And I feel like before people were using bulk up sets, which were very good but not broken, or people were using the Choice Band, which is very good but not necessarily broken. But now a heavy duty boots pivot set with 4 attacks, it was a complete and utter destroying force in metagame. That's not the best way to put it, but you know what I mean. So I think it took a while. We wanted to see if it settled down, if counters like Hippowdon, Rhyperior, Baneful Bunker Talk specs could be enough, or other counters from like lower tiers might rise. And the fact of the matter is that no. Now, there are some counterpoints to this. In fact, I spoke with Joey, someone that a lot of you will watch and are familiar with, and he happens to feel really strongly against this. And I completely understand his point. And I think that's why a retest is important. But there are some things I want to touch on before we get into the analysis part of this. The first one is that, well, the start of things is that Magearna getting banned actually might impact Cinderace, as in there's now more room to run physically defensive talk specs, or Hippowdon, etc. Now, that could come into play here, and that could most definitely make Cinderace less broken. The thing is that in the metagame we were dealing with, it was really broken and it was ridiculous at my point. So the counterpoint to that is everything we've experienced, Cinderace has been over the top broken and it's super restrictive to team building. And we just banned one thing that was really restrictive to team building. We'd rather ban the other, let the metagame settle, and then reintroduce it. Give it a fair chance as opposed to just saying, okay, people are still going to be stuck on old trends and probably just vote ban if we suspect it right after. And holding a suspect during OLT is not only just impossible for the tournament community, but it makes things much harder for people trying to get Rex in general. And that would be a large mess, not only from a tiering position, but also just from people in the community that are trying to get Rex. We feel like we'd see a lot less voter turnout, and we didn't really have any ideas to combine the two quite yet. I think that might be an idea that's worth considering in the future, but as it stands, that's something that unfortunately logistically we had to avoid. And because of that, we felt that it was best to address it immediately and give it a fair retest later on. Another point that is worth noting is that Joey feels we should be outreaching to the community more so than just the tournament community, but like the PS community, the YouTube community, etc. And I actually really agree with that. Right now, the council has a good infrastructure of really knowledgeable players, and we try and reach out to the player base with things like a survey to all the World Cup players. However, reaching that survey out to people like high ladder players and accomplished players in general could go a long way. I would love to hear input from people that play on the ladder, or maybe even a little more casually, or people that just really enjoy the tier but might not necessarily play on Smelgon and have the biggest platform, because your guys' opinions matter just as much. You guys make up a vast majority of the player base, and that really does matter to me. So I'm going to work on some personal initiatives. I'm going to talk with some ROU room owners, GMRs, my boy, and hopefully we could get to a point where we could advertise the Smogon suspect process more, get you guys more involved. And I'm also always listening to what you guys have to say in the comments. While sometimes I disagree with the more outlandish claims like the, oh my god, Stall is too good, guys. No, why are you banning offensive Pokemon, not defensive Pokemon? Because, A, I'm okay with the Toxic suspect. In fact, I'm one of the biggest advocates for that Toxic suspect in the future. Again, in the future, not quite now, because we got to deal with Cinderace first. But B, on top of that, I just feel like everyone's voices should be heard. And while sometimes there's unreasonable things I'd like to sort out, I really want to hear different opinions, contrasting opinions even. And I always want to be the most well-rounded and knowledgeable person I possibly can. And sometimes that means talking to people that come from totally different backgrounds. Like, I play a lot of tournaments in ladder, but maybe somebody just plays ladder or plays more casually or uses different strategies than me. And I'd love to hear from you all. So let me know your thoughts on Cinderace in the comments below. Do you think the ban was justified? Do you think it was too quick? Do you think the retest should lead to it being unbanned or continue to be banned? What's your favorite set? Do you think that it will still be good in Ubers? Hint, it is very good in Ubers. Although I've not yet played with it in Ubers, unfortunately, but that's besides the point. And what else do you feel about Cinderace? I'd love to hear all your thoughts about that. But yeah, I think that reaching out to the community is really important, and I think we're going to increase our ability to do so. And also, hopefully next time we put out a survey to the player base, we're going to be able to reach people who are accomplished on a ladder as well as in tournaments, and then we get kind of best of both worlds. And I think that level of communication, that really including as many people as possible, being inclusive, is going to help the council make the best decisions for the tier, and also make sure everyone's voices are heard. And in addition to that, if you want your voice to be heard, make sure to hit me up, and I can link you to some threads that you can maybe post your thoughts in. I know Smogon forums are intimidating and hard to navigate, but personally, I would love to help people get more involved. We have a super welcoming community right now, and we're looking to grow more and more. So that would mean the world to me if some of you guys can get involved. If you have any questions, hit me up on my Discord. I actually have a Discord server going for the channel. We have over 600 people, and it's super active. But if that won't work, then you can just be on my personal Discord, or feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, because I always love interacting with you guys in the comments, or message me via visitor message or personal message on the Smogon forums as well. I'm really accessible to you guys, so definitely hit me up. But anyway, that aside, I know a lot of you guys are here for a discussion of Cinderace, what got better, what got worse, and we're now 7 minutes into the video, and while I have discussed Cinderace a lot, I have discussed the pros and cons of the bans in the metagame and the viability of Pokemon, so let's get into that now. First off, let's look at what Cinderace used in the metagame. It used a couple of sets that were really common, mainly the 4 attacks one and the bulk up one, but there were some other sets too. So I'm going to go through all of them that I kind of view as viable Cinderace sets. And the big one, and the one that in my opinion is why it got banned, was the Power Ball, Zen Headbutt, Gunk Shot, and U-Turn / Sucker Punch, but mainly, well, really U-Turn. Sucker Punch is more slash with Gunk Shot and Zen Headbutt than U-Turn. U-Turn was honestly always used, but yeah, it could run Adamant or Jolly, really depends on the team. I preferred Adamant, but Jolly was definitely worthwhile in a lot of teams, especially with opposing Cinderace going more and more common. But with that said, this set was just a Wrecking Ball. I mean, you could punish it with things like Rock Yamato Powdon or Self-Rock Rapirior or other forms of chip. However, what was really good about this is that it really had no long-term counters. U-Turn was able to chip Hippowdon and Mandibuzz into a KO range pretty easily. Gunk Shot hitting things like Physical Defense Fable. Zen Headbutt with Adamant into a KO Talk Specs. Power Ball is super strong with the ability to also burn the opponent, whereas Gunk Shot can poison things like Mandibuzz as well. And Slowbro. U-Turn's doing 50 to Slowbro, by the way, so it's not much for a checker counter either. I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, Slowbro's the best counter to... No, actually, Slowbro really didn't do too well. It eventually just got chipped down. I think the Samkin game versus Gacha that I brought to you guys for World Cup a couple weeks, actually probably like a month back now, is a great example of just momentum really invalidating those kind of cores. But anyway, I'm also going to get to 2 replays later on from the World Cup Pokemon featuring Cinderace, so definitely stay tuned for that. But that aside, this set was big, it was really good, and in my eyes, it was what put Cinderace over the top. But anyway, there are some other sets. Bulk Up, of course, was great. While you did have to miss sets of coverage, for example, without U-Turn or High Jump Kick, things like Hydreigon could be problematic. And without something like Zen Headbutt, hitting something like Dragapult that isn't clicking an attacking move could be hard. But of course, there are always ways around those. There's support, and you're not only using Cinderace. So Bulk Up was still a really great win condition. Of course, it struggled a bit more breaking through the more durable walls, such as Slowking, Hippowdon, and Rapirior, especially if they had the right set for the occasion, but that's alright. Anyway, next up there is Choice Band Cinderace, which in particular I thought was really good on Sun teams. This Choice Band Powerball on Sun was just amazing nuke. It was able to destroy things like Dragapult doing like 70%, or even put a dent into things like Rhyperior and Rotom Heat, which are durable resists. Of course, then there's also the coverage that it has to take advantage of that, so yeah. Last, we have a couple more sets. Taunt is a cool set that could help block things like recovery moves and Stealth Rocks being set up and potential status attempts. So that's a cool set as well. Court Change is also a viable option to switch to hazard sides. Switch to sides of hazards, which works on some hyper offensive teams. I don't personally love it. I would never use Court Change in a post DLC metagame. And then there's also a Life Orb before attack set, which is just a complete wrecking ball. The issue is that it's on a timer, so it's really only viable on a specific number of teams, especially since you're taking rocks, potentially spikes, potentially Life Orb. It doesn't live too long, but it's a nuke itself. So yeah, that's about it. Cinderace has nice versatility, but mainly it focused on a couple of common sets, and those sets served it very well, and in my opinion broke it in the SSC metagame. But of course, I want to hear if you guys feel the same or differently. And while we're on that topic, feel free to subscribe, guys. It'd mean the world to me. We're getting close to 5,000 subscribers, and we have a lot of projects going on. We bring you guys some OLT stuff very soon, hint, 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 later today. More episodes of Pokemon Platinum, and later this week we're going to try and get a Smogon history episode out as well. And I might even show you guys some tournament coverage, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, the power is back, so be sure to like and comment as well, as we're all excited for that. But anyway, there are 3 groups of Pokemon that I want to discuss that are relevant to the Cinderace ban. There are going to be 6 winners, 6 losers, and 6 alternative breakers if you're looking for some more firepower to fit onto your teams as well. So we're going to go ahead and go into them as we hit the 11-minute mark. The first one are winners of the ban, and one of them is a really unsurprising Pokemon, one that we haven't seen a ton in the metagame, but something that in my eyes is criminally underrated with the bans of Magearna and Cinderace, and that is Hatterene. In my eyes, Hatterene with Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Mystical Fire, and Psychic is one of the best Pokemon in the metagame. Not one of the best Pokemon overall in the metagame, but rather one of the best beneficiaries of Cinderace's ban. So one of the Pokemon that improved the most. And that's because it was easy to U-turn or teleport or slow volt switch or whatever, pivot around Hatterene +0, get Cinderace in and revenge kill it. Same with get Magearna in and trick it or Specs Flash Cannon it. Now this option's no longer there. And the fact of the matter is that the Fairy plus Psychic plus Fire coverage is amazing. The bulk is huge. And Draining Kiss heals so much, guys. I mean, shit, you take out a Hydreigon or a Dragapult, you're already back to full. No questions asked. You're healing 75% or whatever it is. And it just Calm Mind up a couple times against Chansey or Blissey, and then you're doing 15%, you're healing 100 HP, so I can't even outdamage besides myself. So Hatterene is ridiculously good in my eyes because of that. It's really anti-balance / stally teams right now, but it also can pick things off left and right against hyper offense while stomaching most hits from full health, which is really cool. It's got deceptively good physical bulk with investment, and also with the spread you can outrun Toxic, so you don't have to worry about potentially getting status or Haze shenanigans or anything like that. Next up, we have Corviknight. Corviknight, of course, was struggling against Cinderace. Powerball hit it super effectively, and it couldn't do a ton back, just getting off neutral body press for 45% roughly. Or Brave Bird, maybe get to a Gale, but it really depends. But with that said, Mandibuzz was able to stomach 2 Powerballs, or even a U-turn into 2 Powerballs if it was max physical defensive or just physical defense in general. And because of that, Mandibuzz also helped with things like Wicked Blow and checking Dragapult, and it just rose to prominence over Corviknight. But now Corviknight's seeing huge resurgence, so that's really good for it. It no longer has to deal with being plagued by Volt Switch from Magearna, Powerball from Cinderace, etc. And it can focus more on the things it was great at, like checking Rillaboom and Excadrill, which it goes a long way for Corviknight. Next up, we have Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn naturally just sucked for Cinderace. It died the Powerball, and it was held back a ton by it. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but let me know if you have any questions about that. But also, another big thing is that in the prior metagame, a lot of teams relied on Amoonguss or even Tangrowth as their grass types because they paired really well with Pokemon like Slowbro, Toxapex, and Powdon that were good against Cinderace. And kind of as an extension of that, indirectly, Ferrothorn was held back on those teams and really held to more of a bulky offensive role. But now Ferrothorn works a lot better on balances. You don't have to have a very specific core. There aren't a finite number of builds, but no, there's a lot more, really an unlimited amount of possibilities with Ferrothorn on these structures, fitting it onto these teams as your Steel type, as your Spiker, etc. And I think that's really cool. So yeah, not only does it directly benefit from Cinderace being gone for just, it got beaten down by Cinderace, but also indirectly it is a beneficiary as well due to the structures of teams catering a bit more to it. Next up, we have 2 other Pokemon that are really cool special attacking options as win conditions in the metagame, and those are Volcarona and Togekiss. In my eyes, both of them were great offensive options to begin with, good win conditions to begin with, but Cinderace was able to take any hit, even at +1 from Volcarona, and it was easily able to take a Air Slash or even a Flamethrower, of course, from the Togekiss, and it was able to, Cinderace in return was able to destroy them. Gunk Shot was able to take out Togekiss, Powerball could 2-KO it, whereas versus Volcarona, Powerball is always 2-KOing, and if you got Sucker Punch or your Adamant, you could even kill it if it's at a high health, or just Powerball / Gunk Shot in a Sucker Punch. So yeah, that goes a long way, and these are some cool steps that I wanted to showcase on both Volcarona and Togekiss, as Status is really used a lot of the time as an anti-Togekiss slash Volcarona slash Stoli team if you got either of these Pokemon on bulky teams measure. And running Heal Bell on Togekiss can be a great support development, whereas running Safeguard on Volcarona means you're going to be able to beat things like Hazel's Toxapex, Chansey, Blissey, Toxic, Powdon, etc. And it just goes a long way in my eyes. So yeah, and then any Clefable benefits from Cinderace getting gone, because Cinderace is one of the main things that punished it. However, do not worry, guys. There are lots of new things being used a ton in the metagame right now that punish Clefable, and I think we might even highlight them later on in a future video, so definitely stay tuned for that. Anyway, next up, unfortunately, there are also some Pokemon that I could consider losers of the Cinderace ban, and those Pokemon are going to be Powdon, Mandibuzz, Toxapex, Rhyperior, Zeraora, and Pelipper. Now, the first four are just Pokemon that generally dealt with it pretty nicely. Hippowdon was the premier counter to it, and unfortunately now it just a little less reason to use it. I definitely view Hippowdon still as a good option, though. Maybe it's falling from like A rank to A- rank in terms of viability rankings. For those who don't know, maybe like a top 10 to 15 Pokemon and more like a top 15 to 20, 25 Pokemon. It's still going to be good. It's still great against things like Zeraora, Bisharp, Physical Dragapult, etc. But you definitely have to be careful, and there's one less thing that it really stands out against. Of course, it's still great for setting up sand, setting up rocks, spreading toxic, being a physical wall, and being a Volt Switch immunity, so don't sleep on Hippowdon, but it definitely got a little worse here. Mandibuzz is the next one, as not only is Corviknight getting better, as we just alluded to, which indirectly hurts Mandibuzz, but directly, you were really good against physical, against like Cinderace that wasn't bulk up or choice band with a set like this, just a physical defensive set, and now maybe more special defensive Mandibuzz will surface. I definitely think Mandibuzz is still a great option in the metagame, but it's just going to be a bit worse now, which is unfortunate, but again, it can deal with it. Now, we're also going to see a fall in usage of physically defensive packs, specifically variant with Baneful Bunker, which is unfortunate for that, but I think specially defensive packs is going to be great now. It has a whole different set of things you can deal with, and in my eyes, Pex is still one of the best Pokemon in the metagame, and honestly, probably suspect worthy in the future, so yeah. Next up, we have Rhyperior. Rhyperior is a Pokemon that I was really high on. I use it a lot, as you might have seen on my channel recently, and that was cool, but now there's no Cinderace for it to check, because High Jump King really fell out of favor. It's still good against things like non-grass type Zeraora. I mean, you go through the metagame, it lives with +2 it from Bisharp. It's able to 1v1 Excadrill. +2 it from Alucha if you need to. Beast Rotom, Heat Down. You can beat Volcarona pretty easily because they never run Giga Drain. Yeah, I mean, there are things it could handle, don't get me wrong, but it has less of a defined checking role defensively, so it's more of an offensive Stealth Rock setter, which still can go a long way, don't get me wrong, but it's seen better days. Next up, we have Zeraora. Zeraora, with a set like this, it was really good as a partner to Cinderace. These two formed a nice backbone on both the offensive and even more aggressive balanced teams in the quote-unquote dual furry core, if you will. It was kind of dubbed as that by the community, but that aside, it was also a great partner to it because it lured in grass types like Amoonguss and Tangrowth and used Volt Switch to let Cinderace come in. That was just a really cool piece of synergy. And now we're seeing less Zeraora because it was a great Volt Switch immunity that fit on offensive builds or as a more offensive option. And that was like less needed now that Magearna, the Specs Volt Switch, is gone. And B, it's just not there to synergize with the ever so common previously Cinderace. I don't know, I addressed it like that, but Cinderace, without Cinderace, is still very viable. That's why I put it more like 5th and 6th in this list, but it definitely lost a little bit here. I'd say it's going to go from a top 10 to more of a top 15 or 20 Pokemon, but we'll see how it shapes out. Next up, the whole archetype of Rain, in my eyes, is a slight loser. I know this might sound weird, like why am I discussing Pelipper, Rain of all things, but well, they were able to suffocate Cinderace a little bit. Pelipper in particular was able to live 2 Gunk Shot without Stealth Rock, and obviously Power Ball was weakened. It opened up a ton, and Swift some users all revenge killed and made their way against Cinderace. In my eyes, it's just one less reason to use Rain, and Rain's already kind of slightly dying out. I think there's going to be a bit of a resurgence eventually, though, so if you guys are Rain users, definitely stay tuned for that. More Rain coming in the future, hopefully. Hint, hint, hint. But that aside, it's tough because it's like one less office option to abuse, and you're seeing so many things that can pummel Rain, like Urshifu, Zeraora, Dragapult, Hydreigon, and Alakazam, and they're all really hard to switch into for Rain teams, so yeah, that is tough, but with that said, I think Rain will see better days in the future, so definitely stay tuned for that. I might even be using it later today on the channel in some replays, so I'll have to wait and see. Anyway, there are also some alternative breakers that I want to provide. I know that a lot of you guys loved using Cinderace. Particularly, I want to say thank you to my fans, my viewers, and I guess fans too. I guess I have fans now? Is that a thing? Am I that popular now? Okay, sure, fans. Yeah, well, like, damn it, Cinderace is one of my favorite Pokemon to use. I get that it was broken, but it's a shame. And, I totally resonate. Cinderace is one of my favorite Pokemon to use. I use it every single game in World Cup, and I use it a ton on the ladders you guys saw on this channel. But there are so many badass breakers in the tier that still exist, and I want to point them out to you guys. The first one's going to be Crawdon. I think it's a really underrated Pokemon. I think it's going to continue to gain viability, and it's just a great breaker in this metagame. So definitely be sure to check it out with adaptability, adamant, and now they never ask for Angelic because McGearn is gone. Look, 120 attack with adaptability and all this, it's great. It's obviously very frail, especially in the special end with 55 special defense. Oof, but damn, this thing is so strong. It's going to wreck balance cores that you see ever so common. And because of that, I definitely would advise using Groudon. Next up, we have Urshifu. Obviously, Urshifu is a great Pokemon in metagame, but now there's more reason to use it with less other offensive options. I definitely would try it out right now. I think it's a good thing at making progress, yeah. And now some more underrated or interesting options in my eyes. The next two anyway. The first one I'm going to discuss is going to be Grass CC Drillbum. I know I listed second, my bad. With Acrobatics, I think it's a really cool anti-metagame Pokemon right now. I definitely would advise trying it out. Basically how it works is Grass CC triggers as soon as you switch in. You get +1 defense, which helps you set up. And then Acrobatics lets you hit things like grass types like Opposing Rillaboom or Amoonguss slash Tangrowth and so on and so forth. It also just does great damage to things like Mandibuzz at +2. Being able to pick off specially defensive ranks, which are far more common with Cinderace being banned now. And it's things like Homo-O, which is also, in my eyes, a good offensive Pokemon that's underrated right now. Swords and 3 attacks that can go a long way in breaking through balance or stall your teams. Definitely try that out yourselves. Beyond that, there's also going to be Rotom, Heat, and Alakazam on the special side that, in my eyes, can kind of fulfill good win condition / breaker roles. Rotom Heat is great at tearing apart balance cores, whereas Alakazam is just a good breaker itself. So definitely would try those Pokemon out. Let me know what you think of them. Anyway, so yeah, those are some Pokemon that, in my eyes, are winners, losers, and alternatives to Cinderace, and because of the ban of Cinderace. So now we're going to go ahead and pause for a second and get into some sample games of Cinderace really doing well, just so I could highlight why I feel it was ban-worthy in the SSAU metagame. Alright, so the first game is a game that happened actually a month ago today on July 10th. So the first round of the World Cup Pokemon between two friends of mine, both Empo and Zachary. Empo of Team Italy and Zachary of Team France. They're both really good players. In fact, I'd say Empo is probably the most accomplished and best SSU player, whereas Zachary is not too far behind, having good results in things like SPL himself. So yeah, two really good players. But with that said, I think there are some things that Cinderace really does in this game that might make it so that even the best of players is going to struggle to win. And as you see, both people using Cinderace, but in particular, we're going to be looking at Empo's Cinderace in this game. And also a big shout out to Empo and Team Italy. They just won the World Cup Pokemon in a really dominant fashion. Really amazing work all around, and they deserve a ton of credit for that. But anyway, so yeah, this game's actually already on my channel. I uploaded it in full about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so definitely check that out. But with that said, here we go. So we're going to see a Leap Fable for Empo, and this is just a start. We're going to get to it. Yeah, so it's going to be Trick, so that helps trick the Sticky Barb. And that's just a little bit of support on a common Clefable set that Cinderace is going to have. And now that I've powdered the Sticky Barb, look at what this Cinderace is going to do. Couple of Moonblasts. All right, we're going to skip a couple turns here. And he brings it in on the Combine Clef, and he takes a Moonblast. Okay, that's a nice little chip. 32% for Zachary. That's smart. And now we're at a 62%. But he goes for the Gunk Shot. Oh, into the Powdon, trying to catch that Clefable. Okay, 24%. That's fine. It's 48%, but now look. All of a sudden, Hippowdon is down to 21%. It's Sticky Barb, not Helmet, so it can't really punish the Cinderace. So now you're like, okay, damn. Hydreigon's in. It's going to be able to force that out for sure. Drill comes in, takes a Draco Meteor, Rotom Heat, yup. Hydreigon here. I'm just going to Volt Switch. Okay. And what's that going to bring in? It's going to bring in the Cinderace. Damn. And it's leftovers Hydreigon too. Now he's scared of the high jump kick or U-turn, so he switches out to the Ferrothorn. He's smart, but he goes Gunk Shot mid-ground there. Now he goes to his own Cinderace, another Gunk Shot there, a great play there. And now Zachary's scared out here, and Empo's got the Sucker Punch, so he goes for the Sucker Punch, and it turns out he doesn't have Zen Headbutt for Pex on this team because he's got Futures at Slowbro, which makes sense. But yeah, a Gunk Shot there and the Ferrothorn. And now it's like, damn, like, I can't get out of the way. He's going to now go to Hippowdon, but on a Power Ball, that's easily going to 2-KO it. And now it's like, oh my god. Cinderace just picking things apart left and right. And it came in on, like, what, turn 9, turn 10? And it's already just wreaking havoc. Now we see our Dragon double in here for Zachary. It's a great play to contain the mess a little bit, but again, at what cost? It's already down to Pokemon and a half because of it. And now we see a Teleport here. And the Cinderace comes right back in. And we're like, oh my god, it's happening again. It's happening again, guys. Nothing we can do. And he goes Drill here now on the Pyro Ball, and it's like, dang it. That's 2 Pokemon down. And now Cinderace comes in here, right? But he's scared of Sucker Punch, so he gets out of the way, and he goes Bulk Up, which is a really smart play from Zachary, but the issue is his full health Slowbro is there to keep it in check. And now, to make matters even worse, we do see a Scald here, however, what we're going to see here is just a teleport, and it's going to come back in. He didn't want a Gunk Shot, and I guess he didn't want to miss Gunk Shot, so he's trying to short to it here, but now he goes for the Power Ball in the Clef. He Gunk Shots, and unfortunately he misses the Hydreigon, which is unfortunate, but he U-turns here, and it reveals itself to be, yes, 4 attacks that but he does 80% there, which is just a ridiculous amount of damage. And now C-Plot, sure, maybe you could take out the Clef. I don't even know if he will because he's leftovers. Yeah, it does kill it, okay, but now there's nothing stopping the Cinderace from coming back in and just doing the same thing. It's going to get another kill here into the Ferrothorn, I believe. Yeah, Powerball takes that out, so you can play from Empo there. Now Cinderace comes in right, but he goes to the Fable, yeah, and now Rotom, he comes in. But again, it's going to be a matter of just getting that Cinderace in one more time, and it should be able to clean out the game, honestly. He goes Scizor here just to be safe, which is even better as it comes in a softball, and now with a Bullet Punch potentially. And it's looking like a wrap. And I mean, you saw all the work that Empo was able to do, and he's even able to stomach this Flamethrower. It probably was a variant that was specially defensive to help check this and Magearna. And yeah, Postal Bullet won't even kill. That's funny. But yeah, regardless of that being that surviving, I guess Hydreigon can come in and do the trick as well. But yeah, he goes to his own Hydreigon here on a Flash Cannon. It actually dies to that because it's Life Orb. And now Zachary's Cinderace can even come in and do its own part here as he doubles Fable. Never mind. But yeah, no, I mean, ultimately, this game was pretty much won by Cinderace. And to make matters even better, Cinderace is going to get some more chip on this before putting it in Future Sight. Yeah, Future Sight was there, and then before putting it in Hydreigon range after that. So you didn't have to risk missing the Gunk Shot, which is really smart. And that's going to do it. It's going to be quite a tight win for Empo with the help of Cinderace virtually killing the entire team of Zachary. I mean, it killed like 3 or 4 things, but it chipped everything else. So yeah, it just went a very long way. I mean, the Cinderace that survived was, chipped down just by a Gunk Shot. The Fable that died for other means was chipped down repeatedly by Pyroballs, etc. So yeah, great showing there for Cinderace. But there's also one more game between another member of Team Italy, Rexus, and a member of Team Europe, the opposing finalist team, Evito the Noob. It goes by the name of Evito, I guess. But yeah, so this is between Rexus and Evito. Both got Cinderace again, but now we're going to be looking at, in the chat, Evito, I'm not showing the chat, but he said, so how many boots are there? And looking at Rexus' team, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Could it be 5 boots? That's pretty funny. I love boots. But yeah, anyway, turn 1, we're going to see Zeraora. Yeah. Toxic, it's a cool move for Hippowdon, and other walls would hit the opposing Zeraora. But Rexus was all over it there. Now Rexus gets up spikes as the Fable comes in to try and threaten out the Ferrothorn. And Cinderace comes in for the first time already on Stealth Rock. And it's like, oh damn, what is the check on Evito's team? And the answer is going to Corviknight on a Gunk Shot. I don't know about that. Dragapult on a Pyro? Okay, I guess that's a check. So you're doing 41, so next time it takes spikes, it's like, okay, not good. He goes U-turn. Alright, that's a lot of damage for U-turn. It's good. So Evito is containing it thus far, but Togekiss comes in on a knockoff. Good play there from Rexus. And the Groudon looks like it's not even Life Orb. Okay, that's interesting. Zeraora here on a Roost. Ferrothorn comes back in now on a Volt Switch. Okay, good plays. But let's get to the point where Cinderace comes in. Yup, now Cinderace is in, but there's a Slowbro for Rexus, and he goes for U-turn, and Rexus makes an amazing play. And I mean, these are the plays you got to make. Even if you have something like Slowbro, you got to predict around it. You got to get that U-turn. You got to keep the Ferrothorn in the U-turn or go Slowbro and go. Like, it's just ridiculous. Otherwise, you're losing all momentum, and you're getting chipped down so easily. So yeah, it just goes a long way. We see Clefable come in here now on spikes. All right. But now Moonblast here. It's going to chip down the Ferrothorn, sure, but Ferrothorn Leech, I don't know why I went for Leech. Copycat, alright, this is some, stunting stuff. I love Evito's team. He's used some really cool stuff, but anyway, it's going to be futile. Zeraora comes in here now, takes spikes, and another layer of spikes is laid up. Slowbro here in the close combat. Great play there from Rexus. Now he goes to his own Zeraora, predicting a Plasma Fist, but it actually comes in a Toxic. The Toxic misses, no, and he gets another Toxic off there, but Knockoff is going to weaken this Zeraora and knock off the Magnet, which is unfortunate. And now at least Rexus is going to lose the speed tie after dodging attacks before, so all is fair. As they both, it's a double down there, but it was still a little unfortunate for Yudo. Anyway, Dragapult comes in here now to Cinderace to try and suffocate it, which is cool. It reveals Resto Chesto, which is pretty slick, I'd say, but Thunderwave there is not going to save him from Air Slash doing 44 and putting him in range for a next Power Ball. And now looking at Evito's team, it's like, damn, everything is dying to Cinderace, and Air Slash there. Brave Bird is going to do a decent amount, but Nasty Plot, oh, he's trying to Heal Bell? Yeah, and Heal Bell's okay. The Slowbro comes in and he poses Cinderace, and thankfully it dodges the Gunk Shot, so there's a little bit of breath of fresh air. I know he dodged another Gunk Shot and Teleport, but now Blissey comes in here, and it's like, damn. He dodged another Gunk Shot, and this is the one downside to Cinderace. I wanted to highlight it because it is reliant on accuracy, so that's unfortunate. When it hits, it's so good. Gunk Shot, as you see, it's going to 2-kill, well, like Blissey there, which is pretty impressive. But now Cinderace on the other side is going to come in here. Pyro Ball, he's going to do 47 to the Dragapult. He's going to predict the Thunder Wave, I guess, and get out of the way as he goes to the Ferrothorn, yep. And now, opposing Cinderace comes in right, but it's on spikes, and you go Slowbro here on the U-turn. So it's a great play there from Vito, but it's going to invite in the Crawdon. Crawdon goes Swords Dance on his Scald. Togekiss comes in here now on a knockoff. Now he goes Ferrothorn, trying to bait the Aqua Jet, and this is a great play from Rexus because he baits Aqua Jet, he gets the Barb's damage. Now he gets another, and that puts him at 22%. And now look at this position. Look at this. We got a +2 Crawdon with 4 Pokemon otherwise in the back against 3 Pokemon, and the only one that's healthy is a Cinderace. In fact, there's a 4% Togekiss here, which is going to die to everything. So watch what happens now. Ready, guys? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. All right, let's go. Cinderace comes in. Cinderace clicks Sucker Punch and kills the Crawdon. 1. Now the Corviknight comes in here, and Cinderace clicks Pyro Ball, and it's Aqua Berry because Evido's like, damn, I'm so weak. But look, all he can do to return is just defog away spikes. Okay, now the Drag Pokemon hit. But now he goes to the Clefable trying to preserve that, but that's like, okay, no way is that living 2 of them. Even if the risky Gunk Shot. So that's 2 gone. And 1 other Pokemon chip. Now it goes Thunder Wave, like, okay, you can't even kill me. So that's 3 gone as U-turn takes this out, and he's like, okay, damn. So just came in, and now look at the position afterwards. Now we have 3 Pokemon alive still on Rex's side, but now all of a sudden there's only 2 on Evito's side, and 1 is paralyzed, and the other is weakened beyond repair, and it's like, damn it. Evito's got no chance anymore, and that's just how good Cinderace is, guys. I mean, it's basically another Cinderace loop for all practical intents and purposes, as the Corviknight's going to roost up, but I believe we see Scald here trying to finish for a burn. Yeah, sure, why not? But he eventually gets the burn. By eventually, I mean on the first try. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, he gets the burn, and now he can Future Sight and Teleport and get his own Cinderace in if he wants to. Favorite's only do 11% here. So it's going to be, you know, now Togekiss comes in to heal up, and that's going to be game, as there's no reason to risk missing with Cinderace. You just chill up with Togekiss, and that's going to be that. So yeah, good game there. Future Sight took out the Cinderace, and that is that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I went over what was a beneficiary of the Cinderace ban, as well as what definitely got hurt from the Cinderace ban, my thoughts on the ban, some potential contradictory evidence on the other side. I think he was talking to Joey about that, and also just some community outreach stuff, as well as some sample replays of Cinderace. If you guys enjoyed this content, be sure to hit that like button, comment your thoughts on Cinderace and the channel being back, because we got power and internet guys back. Hell yeah, no more car vlogs for now. And be sure to subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, etc. Have a great day, guys. All right, happy Metagame Monday. Peace out.